Hello everyone, thank you for joining us here at lanksports.com for what unbelievably is the Week 10 edition of the High School Football Preview Show. Jeff, it seems like just 2 weeks ago or so we were going over our football tab at the beginning of the year and doing the season previews. Now here we are in the final week of the regular season. But there are a lot of good games on the docket this week, so let's have a look at them.
Let's get to it.
Okay, Jeff, in Section 1, starting off at the top of the docket this week, we have Penn Manor, which they started the season 7-0. Now they've kind of run into a rough patch here. They've lost 2 straight. But they're hosting Cedar Crest here in Week 10. Cedar Crest 1-5 overall. 1-5 in the section, 2-7 overall. What do you think of this one?
Penn Manor looking to get back on track. Like you said, 7-0 start. They were flying. Story of the year, probably. Hit a speed bump here the last couple of weeks. Ran into Wilson last Friday. Was over there. I got to see Penn Manor for the first time. Wilson put a number on them. Wilson's really good. They're sailing here. We'll get to them in a minute, but they're looking for the top seeding districts. I think Penn Manor gets back on track here. They want to clean up some things offensively. They threw 4 picks last week, which is way too many. They got to cut down on the turnovers. Defense is still pretty good. Still third in the league, up over 200 yards a game now. But I think they get back on track here. Crest has been sort of a hump and bump kind of a team. They're coming off a loss. I think Penn Manor gets refocused. They know they're going to have a Week 11. They know they're going to districts. Coach Mealy said this week, we don't want to backpedal in. He said we want to get some momentum and get a win going into districts feeling good, and they should get a home game too. So I'll go Penn Manor here. I think they snap the 2-game skid and get back on track going into postseason.
Yeah, I like the Comets as well. The 2 teams they've lost to in the last 2 weeks, Wilson and Warwick. Wilson obviously is Wilson, but Warwick's been surging forward here a little bit too, and I think Penn Manor just kind of caught them when they were hitting their stride and getting hot. So no shame in losing either of those games. I think Penn Manor does get a win and moves into the playoffs with some momentum. Okay, next on the docket is possibly the biggest game in Section 1 this week. Bitter rivals going at it, Hempfield and Manheim Township. Hempfield 7-2 overall, 4-2 in the section. Township 5-4 overall, also 4-2 in the section. Stakes are high in this one. Hempfield's, they're trying to get a first-round home game in districts. Township's just trying to make sure they're in districts. Yes. They need a win to get in. You add all that to the fire of what is always a really, really bitter rivalry between these 2 schools. We should have a great game here. What do you think?
Plenty of storylines in this one, like you said. Township's going to need a win, and Township's in a group of teams of 3 for 2 spots, probably for the 16 seed. To get to play Wilson in the following week, and Wilson beat Township 51-3, but that was earlier this year. So Township needs a win and some help. Hempfield playing well, good win over Warwick last week, 35-7. Defense played well for the second week in a row. They got their offense back on track a little bit. Like you said, they want a home game. Hempfield would love to get a home game in Week 11 for sure. Awesome rivalry. Everybody usually thinks CV Central, Catholic Columbia, but wow. Hempfield Township, they could play tiddlywinks on Route 30, and you get a crowd.
2 schools do
for
not
real.
like one another. That's for sure.
Yeah, I like the way Hempfield's going. They had a shutout 2 weeks back. Offense got back in gear last week. I know they got to go on the road at Township, but boy, oh boy, I just like the way Hempfield's going here. I'm going to pick the Knights. Sorry, Township.
Yeah,
I mean, prove me wrong, win and make districts, that'd be fabulous, but I just like the way Hempfield's going here. This is a gut pick.
Yeah, I'm going Hempfield as well. I just think they're just more complete as, an offensive defense than Manheim Township is. They're a lot more multidimensional on offense. Township pretty much revolves around Wirtz, who has been banged up in recent weeks. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Knights as well. It's unfortunate for Township because I think if they lose, they are eliminated. But
pretty much.
We'll
they
see
would
how
need
the math
major
works
help
out.
if they lose.
Yeah.
Wirtz, by the way, last week came back. I don't know if he's 100%. 260 rushing yards. He's now the all-time leading rusher in Township program history. So
congratulations to him.
Good for Dan. That's awesome. That's awesome. Big game this week.
Okay.
Big game.
Next on the docket, we have 2 teams that used to have a really bitter rivalry, and it used to be for first place in the section. Not so much this year. Reading going up against McCaskey. Reading 2-7 overall, 1-5 in the section. McCaskey winless on the season. What do you think?
All right, let's drop those McCaskey stats we were talking about. McCaskey has not gone winless since 1975, which is amazing. And if McCaskey gives up 23 points this week, that'll be the most points they've given up in a season since 1969.
Yeah.
So that pretty much wraps up where McCaskey's season has been going. Reading coming off a win, beat Crest. Fruquan Gaston last week, 250 rushing and 3 touchdowns. He's hot. He's fast. McCaskey's had trouble stopping the run, among other things. So I'm going to go Reading here. Wow, 1975.
Yes,
that's unbelievable.
It's really a shame for Scott Fellman and the Tornado this year, but I'm going Reading as well. I think they win this one and seal McCaskey's fate for an 0-10 season.
Yeah, put the pads away. Sorry, guys. Better luck next time.
Go basketball team.
Yeah, exactly.
And finally, in Section 1, undefeated Wilson trying to wrap up a perfect 10-0 season. They're going to Warwick, which, as you said, lost to Hempfield last week. Warriors 6-3 overall, 4-2 in the section.
It was sort of an odd scene at Penn Manor last week because when the score came down that Warwick had won, nobody sort of realized that, we just won the section title. So it wasn't a huge, big celebration with Wilson. And that just showed me how focused they are. Because right away after their huddle they broke, they said, okay, week 10, let's take care of business against Warwick, not knowing that they'd already won the section title. So really like Wilson. They're nasty. Yeah. I mean, their defense is number 1 in the league again, awesome against the rush. And they win here, they should have the 1 seed locked up for 3 weeks into district. So I like what Warwick's done. They're probably going to go, even with a loss. But Wilson's just on another planet. They've mercy ruled every Section 1 game this year. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm going Wilson as well. I just think they're too powerful for anybody in any section in the LL
right
League.
Now they are.
And possibly a lot of teams in districts too. We'll see how that unfolds. I have a feeling it could be them and McDevitt, standing in the finals when it's all said and done, but we'll see. Warwick, I think they still get in, even with a loss to Wilson. It all depends on how the math works out. If my math is correct, I think they're in either way, but we'll see. No shame in losing to Wilson in this one, and hopefully they would be able to rebound, in time to make some noise in districts. We'll see how it unfolds.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, Friday nights at lanksports.com is the place to be for live blogging from our Spotlight games and updates from the games in progress, all the scores from around the league. And don't forget to check here for the fastest final scores in Lancaster County. We have those posted up by about 10:30, 11 p.m. Also, on first thing Saturday morning, we have our scoreboard with all the game details you could possibly look for. All that in one place, lanksports.com. Thanks again.